Raghav, please let me know when we are ready.
Yes, I will. Okay, we are streaming live now.
Good evening and a warm welcome to the eminent speaker for today, Honorable Justice Kurian Joseph, the extended team of Lex Macula, and the viewers who have joined us from the YouTube live stream. Thank you all for sparing your Sunday evenings and joining us today. It is my utmost privilege to extend a gracious welcome to the Honorable Mr. Justice Kurian Joseph. Although he is a man who needs no introduction, Honorable Justice is a staunch believer in the independence of judiciary and has time and again called for its protection. The Honorable Justice is outspoken and candid upon issues of national importance and has displayed the values of compassion, kindness, and generosity of spirit while deciding upon perplexing issues. The Honorable Justice Joseph is widely known to not let the letter of law stand between the little man and his quest for justice. The Honorable Lordship became a judge of the Supreme Court of India on 8th March 2013 and retired on 29th November 2018. His Lordship began his legal career in 1979 upon graduation from the Kerala Law Academy within NLB. Within 10 years, he was appointed as a government leader. He was named as the Additional Advocate General in 1994 and was designated as a senior advocate in 1996. 4 years later, Justice Joseph was elevated as a judge of the High Court of Kerala. In his astounding career, his Lordship has been the president of the Kerala Judicial Academy in 2006 for a term of 2 years and was also the chairman of the Legal Services Authority in Kerala and Lakshadweep. In February 2010, he was elevated as the Chief Justice of Himachal Pradesh High Court before being elevated to the Supreme Court of India, the apex court of our country. I invite the Honorable Justice to take this virtual platform and discuss the significance of constitutional values in the 21st century. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Krishna. And one good evening to the entire team of Lex Macula and all those legal-minded persons who are joined in this webinar under the auspices of Lex Macula on a very important topic, significance of constitutional values in 21st century. Yeah, for 1,000 reasons, it is very important. So first of all, we need to know what are the constitutional values. And in the process, we'll also be touching on the significance of it. So, our constitution is a unique one. And compared to the many other written constitutions and many other written constitutions in democratic countries also, it starts with we the people. It's a constitution of the people. It's a constitution by the people. It's a constitution for the people. Because it is a country of the people. It's a country constituted by the people. And it's a country that exists for the people. It's not a monarchy. It's not a country of a royal kingdom. It does not owe to anybody else, only to the people. That is the beauty of the Constitution. So this starts with we, the people of India. And who have constituted it? The people have constituted it. We, the people of India, having resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So let's imagine a huge building being constructed on 5 pillars. Some structure constructed on 5 pillars: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. It is sovereign because it does not owe its allegiance to anybody else. It is not answerable to anybody. It is not accountable to anybody. It is accountable only to the people of India. We were not sovereign prior to 1947. we were under the control, direct or remote, for some time, direct for some time, and remote for thereafter, but completely free by 1947. And we got into a constitution in 1950 when we have cut off everything else, and we resolved to constitute India into such a sovereign state. It is socialist. Socialist, for the time being, we need to understand from the economic policy. From the point of view of the economic policy, it is not capitalist. It believes in equitable distribution of wealth among the people, because the nation is for the people. So that is socialism as opposed to capitalism. It is secular democratic, it's republic. And I need to touch on secular and democratic for in some detail. So I'll just finish this republic also. You know what is the meaning of being a republic? It's a republic. The supreme head of this country, President of India, is elected by the people. So a country ruled by a person elected by the people. From among the people, you and I can become President of India provided we are qualified to contest for election to the position of a member of a parliament. There's only qualification required. If so, you can become the President of India. So that is the beauty of a republic. We have a written constitution, and the supreme head of this constitution of this country is the President of India. And the President of India takes oath to defend and protect this country and the constitution. Only if somebody is defending and protecting the constitution is in the position to defend the country. The President of India takes a unique oath. Only two oaths are there in the text of the constitution. That is the President of India, and number two in the country of the Vice President of India. Other oaths are in the schedule. Schedule 3 of the constitution has given in detail the oaths, whereas the oath of the President of India and the Vice President form the basic text in the constitution itself, while describing about their qualification, election, etc. And then comes the secular and democratic. Let me touch democracy first. What do you mean by democracy? Democracy, if you ask a question, what is democracy, you'll always say it's a government of the people, by the people, for the people. I no quarrel with that. People elect their own government, and that government rules the people, and that government rules the country for the people, not for anything else or anybody else, but for the people. So it's of the people, by the people, and for the people. The moment the government does not rule for the people, you pull them down, because government should be for the people. That is why the larger interest of the people are to be reflected in while making the legislation. It does not depend on how you are constituting a government, but what the government does should be for the benefit of the people. And that the benefit of the people is actually reflected by the representatives you elect. So that's why it's always said, you get a government that you deserve. The meaning is that it is you who elect a person to the parliament who represents you, because it's your voice that he is bound to raise in the parliament. So the people's will is reflected in the parliament by the people or through the people whom we elect. So again, the fundamental is again the fundamental, or rather the basis is again by the people. We elect them. So they are answerable to us in the constituency, and the government they form is answerable to them in the floor, or rather on the floor of the parliament. That is the democratic system of governance. In the philosophic sense of democracy, or in the actual working of the term, the expression democracy, it means everyone in this country has a space. So it's all about space. If you have a space in your country, then it becomes your country. Otherwise, it doesn't become your country. If you go to US or Gulf countries or Europe or Australia, you can't say it is my country. You are a visitor there until you get a citizenship. The moment you get a citizenship, you take an oath that you owe allegiance to that country and no other country. Then you become even if you want to maintain some ties, you will have to get an OCI card, origin, indicating your origin. You have some limited rights also. Whereas if you go for temporary visit, or if you work there and spend here, you get an NRI or NRE status. You simply become a non-resident. A lot of difference between non-resident and OCI, overseas citizen of India, is gone. You may get a limited rights here, original citizen, being an original citizen. So the moment you sever your ties with this country, you lose your citizenship. So citizenship gives you a space. And this space does not depend on how much money you have, what gender you belong to, what position you hold, what education you have, what community you belong to, what caste you are from, what region you are from, what language you speak, what food you eat, what dress you wear. Nothing. Irrespective of anything of any one of these, or cumulative all this, you have a great status in this country. You are a citizen of this country. I'm a citizen. You are a citizen. So we are a citizen. We have a right to say, I have a space to stand and to live in this country. Nobody can silence me. Nobody can deny me that space. Nobody can uproot me. No. Even if I commit the worst of crimes also, even then I'm jailed here only, not in a foreign country. Because it is my country. So I have a space. The moment people deny your space, this country does not belong to the people. This country is no more democratic. It's the people who have the ultimate honor of this country. That is why we call larger public interest. Then comes voice. The whole particular whole significance, or whole the effect of your space, whole message of your space, whole meaning of your space, whole reflection of your space is in your voice. If you have a space, you should have a voice. It is correlated. It is so integrally connected. Everyone who has a space is a citizen, and every citizen has a voice. The moment you are silenced, the moment you are denied your voice, then you don't live in a democratic country, and you don't enjoy your democratic rights, and you don't get assured of your democratic rights in a country where democracy is a basic structure in the Constitution of India. So democracy is important in many aspects. It's not a system of governance alone, it's a system of living where everybody has a space in the country, and everyone who has a space in the country as a citizen has a voice to raise. The moment you are silenced, the moment you are allowed not to speak, the moment it is curtailed, is gone. This is actually reflected in many articles, but I'll just explain to you in detail a little later. So this is democratic. So we have seen what is sovereign, what is socialist, what is democratic, what is republic. Then comes the last of the 5 pillars is secular. What's the meaning of the real word secularism? Secularism, again, is a basic structure of the Constitution of India. Let me tell something about basic structure also, because before I proceed, already I told you democracy is a basic structure and secularism is another basic structure. Basic structure means I told you 5 pillars. No? If something is built on 5 pillars, you cannot remove one pillar. If you remove one pillar, it tilts. It loses its support basis. Then it is bound to fall one day or other. So it is so basic to the structure itself, so that it is integrally inbuilt and which cannot be removed or tinkered with. This is called basic structure. And constitutionally speaking, its meaning is that nobody can, by taking away or diluting it. There is a provision to amend the constitution, and Indian constitution has gone to the probably gone to the Guinness book from among the written constitution in democratic countries by having more than 100 amendments in 70 years of its existence. Well, all these amendments have been, rather, majority of these amendments have been tested in the courts of this country, either in the Supreme Court or in the High Court, on the ground that it has affected the basic structure. Since Krishna, while introducing me, referred to independence of judiciary, that again is a basic structure. And that 99th Amendment of the Constitution of India, introducing a National Judicial Appointment Commission by amending the Constitution and introducing an act, both were struck down on the ground that they violate the independent judiciary, which is a basic structure. If it is a basic structure, it cannot be taken away by the parliament, even with absolute majority. Please keep in mind, this was unanimously passed, NJSC, that amendment. But be it unanimous or by majority, nobody can touch. It is beyond the amending power of the parliament under Article 368 of the Constitution of India. And that is the theory of basic structure. And that theory has been evolved in the, finally settled in the Kesavananda Bharati case, which is a 13-member bench of the Supreme Court of India. Since I said about it's a constitution bench, let me tell something about one word about constitution bench also. Since I'm sure many of you, some of you at least, may not be aware of what's the meaning of a constitution bench. Constitution bench is a bench constituted, is a bench that is referred to in the Constitution of India itself, as to while dealing with the matters of matters involving interpretation of the Constitution of India under Article 145(3) of the Constitution of India. It is stipulated that the minimum number of judges who are to sit for the purpose of deciding any case involving a substantial question of law as to the interpretation of the Constitution. So if there is a case which involves a substantial question of law involving the interpretation of the Constitution of India under Article 145 stipulates that there shall be minimum 5 judges. This is what is called Constitution bench. So this Constitution bench, one Constitution bench needs to be reconsidered, then 5 becomes 7, 7 becomes 9, 9 becomes 11, 11 becomes 13. So the largest number so far in the Constitution bench in the Supreme Court of India has been the Kesavananda Bharati case, which held that there is a basic structure in the Constitution, which finally held. It's not the origin. Origin was some other judgments. Yeah, we need to know only for the time being this. Keshavananda Bharati finally ruled that there is a basic structure. And once the court, the Supreme Court of India holds that something is a basic structure, because basic structure is not something defined in the Constitution or dealt with in the Constitution. So it is the judiciary, because Parliament makes the law, the executive government administers the law or governs the country, it's executive executes it, and judiciary interprets the Constitution. It is for the judiciary to say what the Constitution is. Being a part of the Constitution engine, Manoj Narula, I have held what the Constitution is for the judiciary to say, the Supreme Court of India finally to say. What could be the Constitution, the aspirations, it's for the people, lawmakers to say. But what it is finally in the hands of the Supreme Court. Right. So this independence of judiciary, what you call democracy, secularism are all now held to be basic structures in the Constitution of India. So now let me come back to secularism. Secularism is a basic structure in the Constitution of India, or a basic structure of the country. It's not simply of the Constitution, it's of the country. That secularism does not simply mean that the India does not have an official religion, unlike its neighbor Pakistan, where they have an official religion, Islam, and the Constitution says the country belongs to Allah. Here the country belongs to the people, not to any divine source. But this country does not deny the existence of divine powers. That is the beauty of Indian secularism. It does not belong to a particular religion. It does not owe any allegiance to a particular religion, but it respects and it protects and it promotes religious freedom and the right of the people to believe in the religion of their choice. So it is neither owing allegiance to any particular religion, nor it denies the existence of, or rather, denies the role the religion can play in making a person a better person and molding him as a better citizen. This is the role of religion. This country has recognized it, making a person a better person and making him a better citizen of this country. Religion has a role. And that role is actually reflected in Article 25 of the Constitution of India. Again, in Part 3, which is a fundamental right. Something about fundamental right, since I may touch on fundamental aspects also. See, the beauty of Indian Constitution is that, under Article 32, if your fundamental right is violated, or if you are denied of your fundamental right, you can straight away walk into the Supreme Court and file a petition under Article 32 of the Constitution of India. There is no such right for the citizens anywhere in the country. That's why many of these Article 32 petitions come straight to the Supreme Court on the ground of a violation of fundamental right. That does not mean that they do not have such a right anywhere else. They have the high courts are equally empowered and competent and obliged to look into such complaints on negations of fundamental rights. And that article is under a power to issue writs is under Article 226 of the Constitution of India, and that is conferred in the respective high courts. As of now, we have 25 high courts and 28 states. And we have 136 or 137 million people here. Crores, not million, crores. Million is an American expression, crores. And of which there's some statistics which says 122 crores use mobile phones. See how these how people have become, so techie savvy in this country. Anybody, any common man also is using this telephone now. Particularly on this lockdown period, it became a necessity because all our education and everything else, relations also, everything depended mainly on these smartphones or other gadgets, where we need to, have an online. That's why it became an online dispute resolution mechanism also. The new expression came, virtual courts also. All these are new terminologies of our lockdown period. Well, therefore secularism of India gives a right to people either to believe in a religion or not to believe. That's why Article 25 speaks about the freedom of religion, freedom of conscience. So you can go by your conscience. Your conscience may either give you the freedom to believe in a religion or not to believe in a religion. But if you believe in a religion, or if you don't believe in a religion also, that also you can profess, practice, and propagate. There are 3 P's: profess, practice, and propagate. These 3 P's are very important in the Constitution of India. While speak about the role of religion, particularly now there's a lot of discussion on this. Every state competing to legislate on love jihad laws restricting the freedom of religion, etc., etc. That's on conversion. See, as I told you, the religion is a matter of faith, and that's a matter of your conscience. Nobody can allure you. Nobody can threaten you. There's no question of sama or danda in making a person to believe or not to believe. If sama or danda are used, then certainly it is not a free exercise or independent exercise of a free will. So this country respects your free will, so that nobody can either forcefully convert you or appease you for conversion. Both are wrong. But this country cannot prevent you from getting converted. Suppose today I'm a Christian. Today, if I feel I want to become a Hindu, nobody can prevent my becoming a Hindu. Tomorrow, I want to become a Muslim, nobody can prevent it. Day after tomorrow, if I want to become a Parsi, nobody can prevent it. The next day thereafter, if I want to become a Buddhist, yes, nobody can prevent it. Our Dr. Ambedkar, he converted himself into Buddhism. Born and brought up in Hindu religion, he got himself converted into Buddhism. So, therefore, conversion by force or duress or by allurement is wrong. It should be left to the individual to make a free choice out of his free will. I have taken a conscious decision, having thought of all aspects. I want to convert myself into a particular religion. Nobody can still prevent it. Though there are a lot of restrictions being imposed, and a fear psychosis as such is introduced in the country that, if you change your religion, you'll be either finished or you will cease to be having a position in the society. That is certainly wrong. It is undemocratic, it's unconstitutional. You have a right to choose any religion of your choice. And that is why when I come to the next 4 aspects, coming to this, so this is secularism. So our country is not against any religion. Our country is not of any religion. Though the more than 70% of the people, I think so, yes, belong to believe in Hindu religion. Still, India is not India does not have an official religion of Hinduism. India does not belong to this Hindu religion, because officially we have no religion, and officially we are not attached to a religion. Constitutionally, we are open to all religions. That's the beauty of it. That's why in the next four what you call constitutional values, we speak about justice. So having constructed India or constituted India built India into 5 pillars of a sovereign, secular, socialist, democratic republic. Now we come to some 4 pillars. On these 5, then comes some 4 pillars, 4 sub pillars. Those 4 sub pillars are justice, equality, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. And this justice, liberty, equality are 3 rights, whereas fraternity is a duty. And those 3 rights, justice, liberty, equality, are the slogans of French Revolution. Yes, French Revolution. And then we added one duty into it, that is fraternity. So having built this constitution on the 5 major pillars, we said, we secure to ourselves. So we made it by securing what? By securing some space in the structure we made. When we construct a building, I have secured 3 rooms. I have secured a veranda, a portico, a roof. And we always say, we have what all things have we made in the building, in the structure, in the 5 pillars we built. And those are, 1, it is justice. Justice, social, economic, and political. Those are the 3 sub-pillars of that sub-pillar of justice. So it becomes 5, 4, and 3. On the first constitutional value of justice, we have 3 sub-pillars: social, economic, and political. So it's your political justice, where you go through the election process and where you have a say and where you are able to contest, where you are able to elect, where you are able to join any political party and have your political rights and political philosophy spread, etc. Your political, social, your social rights. You are entitled as a citizen of India for social justice. And your economic justice, which I touched about, when I touched about socialism, you understood it. It's not capitalist, it believes in equitable distribution of wealth. So it is social, economic, and political. Then comes liberty. Liberty has 5 sub-pillars. 5. Justice 3 and liberty 5. Liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship. 5 sub-pillars. The 4 constitutional values of justice has 3, liberty has 5. Thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship. This thought and expression is what we find in Article 19, read with other articles also. Article 19, your freedom of speech and expression, which has been very discussed time and again by the Supreme Court of India. When you speak about your liberty, speech and expression, and your space, you have a liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship. This faith, belief, and worship we refer to in Article 25, and then it is also clubbed with 28, 29, 30, and 17 when we speak about untouchability, etc., etc. It goes like that. Whereas your liberty aspect of thought and expression is all couched mainly under Article 19 of your meaningful right, meaningful existence of those rights. And your right to practice any religion under Article 25. This is the liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship. It has only 4 restrictions. It is not unlimited or unguided or unbridled. or uncontrolled. It has its own inbuilt restrictions. Those inbuilt restrictions of your right to profess, practice, and propagate are subject to. It is only subject to these laws are made. Are subject to what? Subject to public order, health, morality, and other provisions in Part 3 of the Constitution, other fundamental rights. So, subject to public order, subject to health, subject to morality, subject to other fundamental rights under Part 3 of the Constitution, you can profess, practice, and propagate any religion. It's not only you live, but you can propagate also. I'm entitled to propagate my religion. I'm entitled to propagate that I do not believe in a religion. I'm entitled to propagate atheism. I'm entitled to propagate Hinduism. I'm entitled to propagate Islam. I'm entitled to propagate Christianity. I'm entitled to propagate Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism. That is the beauty of this country. Despite being 70% being Hindus, rather 80% at that time, India welcomed Christianity. India welcomed Islam. India welcomed Zoroastrians. India gave birth to Buddhism. India gave birth to Jainism, Sikhism. All these are the beautiful aspects of Indian secularism and the constitutional value of liberty of faith, belief, and worship, as enshrined mainly under Article 25 and other provisions in the Constitution of India. Then comes the third one, equality. So justice, liberty, equality. The third sub-pillar. Equality of status and opportunity. Status and opportunity. You know, there are two fundamental rights which are available even to a non-citizen of this country. Somebody who is in this country, they are entitled to two fundamental rights in the sense equality and right to life. Under Article 14, equality, and right to life under Article 21. These are available to any person. It's not, all of them are entitled to what is this equality of status, equal protection of laws. There's no discrimination in the matter of application of rights. The state shall not deny to any person equality before the law and the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. There they use this person. And Article 21 also, the word used is, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. So the liberty is so closely linked to right to life because the whole existence, whole significance, whole reflection of your existence is that you have liberty. So there is no life without liberty. There is no liberty without life. If you have life, you have liberty. It is both sides of the same coin, life and liberty. Two L's. That's available to all persons in this country, not only to citizens. So that is equality before law and equal protection of laws, equality of status and opportunity. And then comes fraternity. What is this fraternity? Fraternity, as I told you, is not a right, it's a duty. Whereas your justice, liberty, equality are rights. Fraternity is a duty. But it is also a constitutional value where we have said assuring the dignity of the individual. The constitution we have constituted securing to ourselves justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity. And fraternity, what type of fraternity? This fraternity which assures, it's a guarantee, assuring the dignity of the individual. This is where we speak so much about the constitutional morality, etc. The dignity of the individual. Dignity of the individual means he is entitled to be treated in a dignified manner, irrespective of his religion, irrespective of his gender. That's why the transgender, they are also entitled to the same right as any other person or any other man or woman, transgender, because they are also persons, they are also citizens. They have a right to enjoy this fraternity, assuring their dignity. They shall not be discriminated on the ground that they are neither man nor woman. Yes, dignity of the individual. Your dignity does not depend on which political party you belong to, which religion you belong to, which language you speak, how much wealth you have, how beautiful you are, which caste you belong to, which community you belong to, which place you come from, and which civilization you belong to. Yes, whatever it is. Irrespective of all this, you are a citizen of this country. And you are entitled to share this fraternity with the President of India, Prime Minister of India, Chief Justice of India, you, me, everybody. We are all, India is my country, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. This is the beauty of this constitution. India is my country, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. But is it actually so? Are they my brothers and sisters? Can Krishna walk on the road when the 9 o'clock in Delhi street and say, all will respect me because all are my brothers, and all my brothers will see me as their sister? It is this dignity of a woman, and dignity and equality of gender equality of this woman, that is something which has to go to the mindset of the general public of this country. No execution, no capital punishment will give you this message. Had it been so, after Nirbhaya for execution, India should have been a very safe place for women to walk on the street, alone or in company, day or night. I can walk in Delhi street at 11 o'clock. Nobody thinks strange. Not for Krishna. If Krishna walks, she may not be able to walk more than 5 minutes. Something will happen to her. Vultures are there everywhere, because they are all seeing you as a commodity for consumption. This has been the mindset, where the men, on account of their economic, social, political, communal powers, muscle power, they just subdue, suppress, and subjugate the dignity of woman in this country. It is this mindset which has to change. Otherwise, there is no meaning in what we call fraternity. Your right to live in this country shall not depend on whether you are man or woman or a transgender, you are beautiful or ugly, you are poorly clad or robustly dressed, whether you are rich, whether you are a member of A religion, B religion, C religion, whether you owe allegiance to this political party, that political party. And if you don't, I will finish you. No, this is not democracy. This is not fraternity. This is not justice. This is not equal treatment. This is suppression and oppression and, negation of rights, to say the least. These are all the significance of the constitutional values in this country. And it is in the hands of you and me. The moment I see things going bad in the country, against the interests of the common man, against the interests of the constitution, against the interests of constitutional institutions, against the existence of constitutional values in this country, the moment you keep silent, The moment I keep silent, I'm not a citizen. I'm not a responsible citizen of this country. It is this civic sense of protecting the country, protecting the constitutional values, promoting the constitutional values, and promoting the spirit of common brotherhood, irrespective of these differences, casteism, communalism, and living a life with integrity, not being subject to corruption or promoting corruption or part of corruption, then you become a responsible citizen of this country. It is to make you a responsible citizen, make myself a responsible citizen. I also joined in this webinar. If 100 of you who are listening to me, or 10 of you who are listening to me, are able to really understand the beauty of our constitution and the duty of a person in the country to think democratically, to think beyond all these political, communal, religious barriers, to think beyond these gender barriers, to think beyond these socially structured barriers, to think beyond these political barriers. You are entitled to have your politics, no doubt about it. But that is not something to be imposed on others. That is something which permits you to respect a counter philosophy. There's no. It is this counter culture that is supremely important for existence of a democratic country. The moment the counter culture is suppressed and oppressed, it is not a democratic country. So, my dear beloved sisters and brothers, the future of this country is in our hands. 21st century, if you want India to exist as it existed 20 centuries, it existed in a in a constitutional framework for the last 70 years, and it should continue to show itself as a country where political, civil, democratic, secular rights are respected, protected, and promoted. You and I need to stand up and speak out. Only because many people stood up and spoke out, you and I are able to live in an independent country. If our independence is at stake, either in the independence of judiciary or in the independence of in the purity of democracy, then it is our eternal vigilance that is the root cause thereof. If we are dormant, if we are not vigilant, yes, democracy will slowly fade away. Democracy will take a different shape and different color altogether. So the moment you see undemocratic, unjust, discriminatory, suppressive, oppressing tendencies and voices around you, just around you, raise your voice, stand up and speak out. You become a responsible citizen of this country, because it is in your hands the dignity of your brother and sister is secure. Not in the hands of police, not in the hands of the court, not in the hands of the government, but in our hands. The people's dignity should be secure, because it is my constitution, it is my country. If it is my country, all Indians are my brothers and sisters, irrespective of she or he, irrespective of this caste or that caste, irrespective of this religion, that religion, irrespective of this community within this religion, irrespective of your money, your power, your muscle, your position, all are my brothers and sisters. Let's all think about this. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for so beautifully summarizing the constitutional spirit of India. And I'm truly in awe. With your prior permission, we maybe move to the question and answer session. There have been some questions in the chat box. Your Lordship, how would you describe the ideal judicial conduct from the various stakeholders of the Indian justice system? So that would include advocates, that would include judicial officers, even litigants. What would be the ideal judicial conduct?
Ideal judicial conduct would be a conduct where the one who administers justice, that is, yes, yeah. The one who administers justice should be administering justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and discharging to the duty, constitutional duty, to the best of his ability, knowledge, information, and belief, and will be upholding the constitution and the laws made thereunder. These are the words are taken from the oath of a judge. I, Kurian Joseph, having been appointed as a judge here, where I was appointed as a judge in my Kerala High Court, then Chief Justice in Himachal High Court, then judge in the Supreme Court. Generally, these three oaths are all these expressions are there. Swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India. What do you mean by true faith and allegiance? Your faith and allegiance shall not be colored by your political bias, your communal bias, your philosophical bias, your arbitrary, what you call, bias of arbitrariness. That also is a bias. No, don't teach me. I know it. Who are you? That is a bias of arbitrariness. Because you cannot claim the monopoly of knowledge. No judge can claim it. A judge is always taught by lawyers, but should be taught in the right way, not in the wrong way. That's the only thing. Yes. And then comes the role of advocates. As advocates, according to me, one failure of democracy in the country as of now is on the part of the trends I see in the community of advocates here. Where is their voice now? Where is their voice when things go constitutionally wrong? It has always been the advocates who have been raising their voice. Where are they now? They are also divided politically. They are divided communally. They are interested. They are divided in their own in protecting, safeguarding their own self-interest. So the moment you don't have a unified voice of a bar in terms of the independence of the constitutional functioning of the court, things will go wrong. Things are likely to go wrong. Things are going wrong because there is no bar which barks when things go wrong. If you have a good dog, you call it a watchdog. I'm sure many of you have dogs in your homes. If the dog doesn't bark when a thief comes, what will you think of that dog? It is not a watchdog. It is not a dog at all because it does not demonstrate the quality that you expect from a dog. To bark. Bark for what? Bark to catch the attention of its owner. Yes, this barking. And even when the owner does not catch its attention sometimes, and if you still trespass, then the dog bites you. That's why watching dogs seldom bites. But unfortunately, the watchdogs of this country, the advocates in the judicial system, they are the watchdogs. They are not barking the right way, and they are not able to bite because they bite according to their sweet taste. They will bite if they are interested in this taste. They will bite or bark looking at the person. Show me the man. Show me the color of the thief. If the thief belongs to your religion, he will not bark. If the thief belongs to your political party, he will not bark. If the thief belongs to your caste, he will not bark. So the fact that he's a thief you compromise. For what? For your biases. Bias in terms of religion, politics, philosophy, and whatnot. So the duty of a lawyer is to think about all those things. Unfortunately, I see across the country the bar losing its moral power, bar losing its what you call the power as a real watchdog. I've never seen the Supreme Court of India bar, so politically divided, so communally divided, and that is the story of the bar across the country in various high courts also. So in your institution, when things go wrong, you are not able to raise one voice. You have different voices. So this objective approach to the Constitution is slowly fading away. It is a subjective approach that is securely being adopted by the bar now.
Thank you for that very candid response, Your Lordship. The next question would be, how would you describe the significance of fundamental duties to uphold constitutional values?
It's a beautiful question. It's a very sweet topic. I always keep to the close bottom of my heart. Now, these fundamental duties came when our democratic rights were denied. There was no chapter on fundamental duties in the Constitution. Right, just as secularism and socialism also coming in. This also is a product of this 42nd Amendment during this emergency product, fundamental duties. Article 51A with 9, 10, 11 now. And the 11th one has become a right, fundamental right of education now. We are 10 now. It starts, it's beauty. Every citizen of this country, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to abide by the Constitution and its laws. Rule of law. Rule of law is also basic structure. There's a law for everything, and everything is ruled by law. That is rule of law. As simple as it is. There's a law for everything, and if there is no law, they will make the law. And everything is ruled by law. That is rule of law. Abide by the Constitution, respects its ideals and institutions. National flag and national anthem. And then let me just come to 51AE. To promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, regional, or sectional diversities, and to renounce practices derogatory to women. It's a fundamental duty. What is the what do you mean by practice derogatory to women? Let me put just simple straight practice which is derogatory to the dignity of woman. Even for the advertisement of undergarments of men, it is a compromised picture of a woman is shown by the media. Does it not affect your dignity, Krishna? I'm asking you. The type of the pictures that project about. See, I told you about consumption. How do you actually generate a spirit of passion or interest of consumption in you? Even for liquor, you have advertisements. Even for drinks, you have advertisements. Coffee, you have advertisements. And tea, you have advertisements. Anything for any consumable product or a tradable object, you have an advertisement, because then only people will consume. Unfortunately, in this country, the media uses you, the women, my sister, for advertisement. And this is one reason for this consumption. Bail me out if I'm wrong. Some of the newspapers in this country survive only in couple of pages with this half nude and what they call imbos. Is not. I wanted to use another expression, but the type of pictures. It actually sends a very wrong signal according to me in the minds of the normal man, common man. By rousing his otherwise ill-informed feelings, he becomes, his rationality is gone, his irrationality is aroused. But are you objecting, Krishna? Has anyone objected to this sort of advertisements in this country? In my young days, I have done that. While I was working in a student organization, we went out to the whole street with the tar. We used to have tar at the time. And we tarred all the advertisements, pictures where, women were depicted or shown in their half nude or in a, what they call, yes, in that sense. We ought to either tore away or we put this black oil. Nobody urges. Don't promote this sort of media. Don't promote this sort of things in a where your dignity is compromised for advertisement. You'll be equally beautiful if you are fully clad also. You don't require your dishonest parts to be shown for an advertisement. Well, this is renouncing the practice, renouncing the practices is a derogatory to the dignity of woman. That's a fundamental duty, Article 51AE. And to develop a scientific temper and humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. Scientific temper, humanism, spirit of inquiry and reform. Look at the beauty of these things. Dr. Abdul Kalam, our former president, used to embark on this, extensively. Particularly the last one I want to refer to also. That is to strive for excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. This is that fundamental duty under Article 51A I, the 10th fundamental duty, to strive for excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity. It's not just managing. We want to excel. Yes. So the excellent means you have excelled. Excellency means a person who has excelled. So to say, after arguing a case, you should not have feeling that I could have argued one more point. I could have looked at conducted some more research. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed out some. No, then you are not excellent. Excel. Do your best. That's why in the oath is called, to the best of my ability, knowledge, information, and belief. And I'll owe true allegiance to the faith, allegiance and faith to the Constitution of India. And I'll uphold the Constitution of India and law, and the laws made thereunder, without fear, favor, affection, or ill will. The moment your integrity, your credibility is doubted in terms of your allegiance, in terms of your faith, in terms of your quality of work, in terms of your output, in terms of your approaches, it is not democracy. It's not an independent judiciary. It is a dependent judiciary. It is not an independent bar. It's a dependent bar. So independence of judiciary will depend on an independent bar also. That is part of the earlier question. Now, coming to the fundamental duties. So the exercise of these fundamental duties, rather the practice of these fundamental duties, will make India a real India. It's not laws, it's not your rights, but it's your duties which constitutes India into an India of brothers and sisters. Otherwise, it's an India of men and women. It's not an India of men and women. It's an India of brothers and sisters that we need to constitute, we need to live in. It's in your hands. It is in my hands.
Your Lordship, thank you so much for that response. I'm sure our viewers are as inspired as I am from your words of wisdom. Another question that we have is,
am I not right, Krishna, in what I said about these advertisements?
Yes, Your Lordship, you're absolutely right. And the fact that these advertisements are not to dignify women but to appease men, so that is where the real concerns come in.
Not to appease, but to do something else. And no woman is affected by it. I used to wonder, not that men, see, if they enjoy, they will not raise. But you are not to compromise yourself about your dignity so as to make him enjoy unconstitutionally. Make him enjoy constitutionally. Let us enjoy constitutional rights, not unconstitutional way.
Yes, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, what would you consider to be the three most prominent issues that threaten or endanger the spirit of constitutionalism in the 21st century?
3 C's: casteism, communalism, corruption.
That's very true, Your Lordship.
Communalism and corruption, and of course the independence of judicial. The perception of common man that the judiciary is not independent. This is the fourth threat I see. The government may have majority. It's a government of majority, but not the court. Court does not depend on whether they are in a country with a majority government or minority government, whatever it is. It is a constitutional court where before it there is only constitution. There is nobody. Their exercise does not mean, even for listing a case, even for taking up a cause, even for hearing a case, it makes no difference whether you are A, B, C, or D. If you are selective in appointment, if you are selective in deciding cases, if you are selective in approaches. So therefore, casteism, communalism, corruption, and the threat to the independence of the judiciary from within and from outside is from within also. Unfortunately, I plead, is from within also. These are the 4 dangers I see in the 21st century. If you have an independent judiciary, nothing can touch this country, because this country has always withstood all these onslaughts by an independent, only because of an independent judiciary. The moment that independence is compromised, the moment there is a perception that it is likely to be compromised, the moment there is a feeling that it is already compromised, the moment that we see signs of such compromise, yes, we lose our faith. We lose our confidence, not faith, the confidence, yes. So that confidence of constitutional institutions has been shaken. Let me take it to the 5th threat also. Why should I blame judiciary alone? Look at any constitutional institution. Has its credibility not been shaken? Sorry, Election Commission, CAG, UPSC, your all regulators, be it Medical Council of India, be it Bar Council of India, be it UGC, be it the Statistical Commission of India, whom we thought will be, will not be, nobody will think about it. Your economic regulator, Reserve Bank of India. So take any sector. I'm asking you to make an introspection. Has their credibility not been shaken? Yes, this is a very dangerous thing. The credibility of a constitutional institution like judiciary or election commission or CAG or so all those constitutional institutions and institutions of constitutional significance and importance shall not depend on the color of the government, shall not depend on the strength of the government, shall not depend on the political power of the government. It shall depend only on the constitutional integrity and nothing else. That's why, is there any investigating agency whose credibility has not been shaken? I'm asking you, is there any investigating agency which is not attacked on its independence? We used to speak so proudly about some of the investigating agencies. Yes.
Your Lordship, thank you so much for that ingenious response. With your prior permission, I would like to ask just one last question. Your Lordship, it's a great honor for all of our viewers to hear you for this past hour or so. So what would be the one cardinal advice that you would like to leave these group of young lawyers and students with?
Lex Macula and my dear esteemed beloved listeners to this group, let's think of an India where, your ideology does not matter, your wealth does not matter, your power does not matter, your politics does not matter, your gender does not matter, your religion does not matter, your language does not matter, your color does not matter. Let's think of an India where Krishna is my sister, who else? I don't see Sarath. Saras is my brother. I don't see other names. Yes, all are our Kurian is your brother. So I'll see a sister and a brother. And my sisterhood and brotherhood does not depend on politics, religion, gender, caste, language, region, political philosophy. At least let us lawyers, because we are lawmen, no? We are lawmen. Lawmen means, it is law that is important to us. It's not any other emotion. Let's not be governed by emotions. Let's be governed by law. Even if my father commits wrong, I will say, Father, you're wrong, because the law does not permit you to commit this wrong. In Himachal, I had a very wonderful experience. I used to walk incognito because my security does not depend on the security of a gunman walking with. My security is in the hands of the people, I always believed. So I saw a man smoking in public when I was just walking. So I told him, sir, this is not permitted. You cannot smoke in public place. He asked me, are you the chief minister? I said, what do you say? You want the chief minister of this state to come and say that you are doing something wrong. I have a right to say, and I have a duty to say that you are committing wrong. Because your wrong action, your violation of law affects my rights also, my sisters, my brother's rights also. Not only me, it affects my brother, it affects my sister. Because it is my country. So I continued this discussion for quite long. By the time his cigarette almost finished, I did not permit him to smoke, to inhale. Finally, he came to know that I am the Chief Justice of the High Court of that state. He was. So I want to end up this story saying that, I made him a man, a socially responsible man, a law-abiding citizen, to abide by the Constitution and the laws. Wherever things go wrong, please say you are wrong. Whenever I commit mistake, it shall not depend on whether somebody sees or not, but live a law-abiding life. Never take pride in breaking law. Always help people to follow law. Always reach up to the assistance of those people who stand up for the rights of others. Always be on the side of those people who have been denied their rights. You'll be great. You'll be a responsible Indian citizen. You'll be a real human being. Be a human being first. All the best. God bless you all. Jai Hind. And wish you all a very happy new year and the season of being Christmas. Happy Christmas to all of you also.
Thank you so much, Your Lordship, for this very insightful session, which leaves us with a dream of better India and calls for action from all members of society. I would now like to invite Raghav for the vote of thanks. He's the president of Lex Macula. Raghav, please.
Good evening, sir, and good evening to all the attendees that have joined us for the past 1.5 hours. I'm deeply hit and shocked by each and every alphabet that sir has enlightened us upon, let alone the five pillars of the Constitution, and how sir has related each and every aspect of the Constitution. I don't think so that there would be another man who can do this as amazingly as Sir did. And we are highly indebted to and express our deep gratitude to Honorable Mr. Justice Kurian Joseph, who, despite his hectic schedule, took time out for being a part of this program and very readily agreed to address law students, lawyers, and law professors. We are beholden to.
All thanks to Mr. Ariaman also. He has been instrumental for me to come in. Thank you, Ariaman, for getting this platform. Though I was asking you to delay it slightly. Yes.
We are beholden to Sir for all the support and guidance we have received from him in organizing this webinar on a very crucial topic of immense relevance these days. His Lordship is known for his perfectionist approach, which is visible in his judgments. His Lordship's elucidation of the concept of significance of constitutional values, I am sure, would have struck a chord with all the participants. Honorable Justice has been a protector of individual liberties right from his days on the bench. And even today, he laid emphasis upon our deeply democratic and secular values. With recent events in our polity has seen his Honorable Mr. Justice words become even more important in understanding the layer of oneself from freedom to practice, propagate, and convert religions to the importance of the rule of law. I once again thank Honorable Mr. Justice on behalf of the whole team of Lex Macula and our attendees, and we hope to have your blessings for our future endeavors, sir, and to have the opportunity to hear you again through another insightful session. Thank you very much, sir, for being a part of this program.
Thank you. God bless you.